Okay, good morning. So we are starting out week 2 of the term. You will notice that we have a posting, our weekly announcement, right? And this weekly announcement is found right on our course page. And underneath announcements, week 2 is up here. So it tells us what we're going to be doing Monday and Wednesday, all right? Usually on these announcements as well, there is the link that would take us automatically to the Blackboard Collaborate session or perhaps to a quiz. So that's just a quick way of getting to the next location that we're looking for. But if you don't want to go to course link in the announcement there, you can go to the left-hand side and go into Blackboard Collaborate Ultra there, or go to the quiz, or go to course documents, or go to assignments, right? So all of that information, where we're going to be walking through, where course documents and PDF files are saved, are all accessed through this link on the left-hand side. So what we are going to be doing today, we're just going to do a little recap on folder and file management. Then we're going to try out our practice quiz and a practice assignment submission, right? So that's what we want to get accomplished today, Monday. Then Wednesday, we're going to start to actually learn some AutoCAD commands. And we're going to talk about practice assignment number 1. What I want to point out to you today as well is that underneath course documents, over here on the left-hand side of our Blackboard page, underneath course documents, each week we will post information about the weekly PowerPoints that we do. So you'll notice underneath course documents here, I have all kinds of documents in here that is related to orientation, right? So this is our PowerPoint that we went through last Tuesday. There is also a link to the website, which the college put out, and it was called the Launch Guide. So that's a web page that's dedicated to helping you get yourself situated at the college, talking about different types of supports that are available, who to go see if you have a specific question. Then we have a series of other PDFs down here. And this is specific to our program because we are a college leased laptop program, meaning that you've been given a laptop to use for your studies, right? And we found out last week that we have to make sure that we are hooked up to the Global Protect VPN in order to borrow the software license for AutoCAD. But this is additional information for you to go back through and if you have any additional questions, okay? If you do not have a college leased laptop, that means that you are likely not within Canada. If you are not within Canada, the way that you access software is using Splashtop, okay, All of this information should have been sent to you by IT in an email with these instructions. So we've posted it again here for your review, or if you have additional questions. Okay, so that's orientation information. What also is in here is our lecture notes. Okay, so weekly lecture notes. If I go to weekly lecture notes, you'll notice we have week 1, and it's got a PDF file, and it also has several YouTube videos. And then we have week 2. Okay. So week 1, that was talking about our class procedures, right? Our teaching and learning plan, showed you what we were going to do week to week. But then there's also a bunch of videos about Windows 10, right? And why I have included that is so that we can make sure we are organized with our folders and our files that we're going to be using in our first term at school, right? Because what you want to do is you don't want to work on a drawing or work on a file for several hours and then not be able to find it, right? So that's what we're going to do this morning. We're going to do some quick keyboard shortcuts and develop basically a file folders for our courses. Okay? So that we have that PDF, and we have these videos, right? So a couple of these videos are quite long. Some of them are short, but they are some quick tips to watch in order to get started with Windows 10 for file management. Then down here, week 2, this is also our PDF that we're going to be going through today. So what you should be doing is saving these PDFs to your hard drive in order for you to access them at a later time. Okay, so I just wanted to show you where the course documents are found, right? On the link on the left, course documents, we have our orientation information, and then we have our lecture notes. Sometimes we will also have demo drawings that we will work through that are available there as well. Okay. All right, so let's get started with the PowerPoint for today. So what I'm going to do here is right now I'm hitting the Alt-Tab key. So I'm holding down on the Alt key on my keyboard, and I'm using the Tab key to allow me to cycle through the windows or the programs that I have open. And if I take my finger off the Alt key right now, it will open up on my screen the AutoCAD drawing file that I have open. But that's not where I want to go. I'm going to select the Alt key one more time, and I'm going to hit Tab. And I'm going to go to my PowerPoint slide that I have open. So that keyboard shortcut, that allows me to path through, oops, I didn't want to do that. That allows me to path through open, programs that I have open, right? So windows of other programs that I have open. That is holding down the Alt key and then selecting the Tab key. And if I hit the Alt key and I hit Tab, you'll notice that previews for me. And if I hit Tab again, the white rectangular highlights the window that would open if I took my finger off of the Alt key now. Okay, so that allows me to easily move through the programs that I have open. And no, I did not hit the record key. So let me go back to record. So now we are being recorded. Thank you, Tony, for that reminder. Okay, so again, the Alt key, hold the Alt key down, hit the Tab key, and that allows me to cycle through my open windows. And if I want to select a different program, that is the software program that will be current on my screen. So the Alt key and the Tab. All right, so that's kind of one keyboard shortcut that I can easily switch between open applications. Again, here's our PowerPoint first link in the slide telling us what we're going to do Monday, telling us what we're going to do Wednesday. And these PowerPoints, these PDF files that we create from our PowerPoint will be posted typically Saturday mornings for you to review for the upcoming week. Okay, so you'll notice there we have file folder management. We're going to do a Blackboard practice assignment and a Blackboard orientation quiz today. Then on Wednesday, the new topics will be drawing setup, drafting aids, a command to create, a command to edit, some inquiry commands, and we're going to talk about practice assignment number 1. Okay, so just a reminder, if you have computer and or software issues, you need to send an email to itservicedesk@niagaracollege.ca. Okay, those are the people that are going to be able to help you in an efficient and effective way. So contact IT Service Desk. When you are contacting them via email, you want to make sure that you include your student name, your student number, the program that you are in, and you are also going to include a telephone number that they can quickly contact you at. Okay, because sometimes a lot of issues are easily solved with just a quick phone call. Okay, so just a quick phone call. So you want to make sure that you provide them with a phone number that you can be easily reached at. In order to have the license for the Autodesk products, because the Autodesk products are locally installed on your laptop, in order to have to borrow the license, which means that we can use it without being hooked up to Blackboard, or so not Blackboard, in order to you don't have to be hooked up to Apps Anywhere in order to use the Autodesk products. But you do have to have borrowed the license for the Autodesk products. In order to borrow the license for the Autodesk products, you have to be connected using that Global Protect VPN. Once you have connected to the VPN, you then open up AutoCAD and borrow the license. Okay? That's a very important step. Once you have borrowed the license, you can then disconnect from that Global Protect VPN. Okay, if you do not have a college lease laptop, so if you do not have that college lease laptop and you are within the Niagara region or you are living within Canada, you need to get that college lease laptop. Okay, so if you're in the province of, let's say, Quebec, the college, I believe, will send you that laptop. If you are, let's say, in Mexico, the college will not send you the laptop, but you can access the laptop they have dedicated for you at the college using Splashtop. Okay, so in order to get access to your college lease laptop, you have to use Splashtop, which has a slightly different set of instructions to get into there. So if you are not within the Canada boundaries, you will be using Splashtop to access your college lease laptop that is basically in a room at the college, and you log into that laptop to get access to the software. Okay. If you need more information about that Splashtop, there is that link posted underneath our course documents in Capt 1434. Okay, so what we want to do for a couple of minutes this morning is we want to organize and back up our files. Talk about organizing and backing up our files. We want to create some folders and subfolders. We're going to delete, copy, move, rename files and folders, how to make a selection set. I've already showed you how to switch between applications. What are the two keys that allow me to switch between applications? Type it in the chat. Anybody? What are the two keys that allows me to switch between applications? Great, the Alt and the Tab key, right? So I hold down the Alt button, I then hit the Tab button, and I can cycle through the applications. We're going to talk about the OneDrive briefly. We're going to talk about how to create a JPEG file, and we're going to show you how to submit. We're going to show you the assignment manager in Blackboard, right? How do I submit a file so that it will be marked? Okay, so that's one of the things we're going to talk about. What we don't want our computer to be extremely disorganized, right? We want to make sure that our hard drive and where we keep our files is organized. We don't want to have what, in essence, a junk drawer for our hard drive, right? We want to make sure there is some structure to the filing system that we use. That way, when we go to submit a file via Blackboard, we can quickly find the file because we have organized it into proper folders and files. Okay, so what we want to do today is we want to, on our PC, so on the C drive, we're going to find the documents file. We're going to create a folder called Niagara College. Inside that folder, we're going to create another subfolder called 2021 Fall. Within that folder, we're going to create individual subfolders for each one of our classes. Okay, so you guys have 7 classes, right? So you're going to create 7 subfolders inside the subfolder called 2021 Fall. And you're going to have each folder for each class. Then within each one of those course folders, we're going to have additional subfolders that allow us to separate assignment documents and class note documents. Right? That way, you'll be able to quickly path to the course and find the assignment that you need to submit, or quickly path to the course to find the class notes that you want to submit. So remember last week when Mr. Morabito asked you to save the workbook, right? Saving that workbook that we have posted underneath estimating, you're going to want to put that notebook into the course notes subfolder of the estimating class. For our class here, which is CAD I, Capt 1434, you're going to want to save those weekly lecture notes underneath class notes, right? You're going to save those into the Capt 1434 or your CAD I file folder. The reason we want to do these is so that we can easily find something, right? So we can easily find objects. All right, so let's, I'm going to switch to my File Explorer page here. Switch to the File Explorer page. And you will notice on this page here that I have on my left-hand side here, I'm expanded out, right, so that I can see this PC, but I also see OneDrive NC, right? What is OneDrive? Can you see the little image beside the cloud storage? Exactly, cloud storage, right? So if I am going to access OneDrive, I don't necessarily have to be on my laptop to access OneDrive, right? I just have to be able to log into OneDrive, and then I can see my folders. So we consider it a backup, right? A backup of our hard drive. So what I want us to do is I want to make sure that when you are going to save your documents, you are going to make sure that you are having a hard drive copy as well as a OneDrive backup copy. Okay, so when I open up the OneDrive here, whoops, something's not happening right now. You notice the status, nothing is showing up in status. And that's because if I go down here on my status bar here, I'm not logged in. I'm not signed into OneDrive. Okay? If you are using strictly OneDrive to contain all of your folders and documents, you want to make sure that you are always constantly signed in there. Okay? What would be one of the disadvantages of OneDrive storage? What's one of the disadvantages of OneDrive storage? Yeah, right. Not being able to get onto the internet, right? No access with internet. So that's kind of, and that's a pretty big thing, right? If you don't have any internet, if your signal is down and the only place that you store something is on that cloud, and let's say the internet's down for a day at your house, you have no access to your files. So just be cautious of that. If you are using only the cloud for storage, keep that in mind, right? It's happening less and less nowadays that the internet's becoming much more stable, but guarantee you that when you absolutely need that internet to work, something will happen, right? That's always just the law of what goes on. So when you create your folders, make sure that you are doing it on your hard drive, on your actual C drive. And you'll notice if I go down here into my Windows, I have to go to Users. I have to go to DVanosh, and I have to go to Documents in here. Okay, so once I go into this location here, this is my actual hard drive. If I go this PC and then Documents, that's still the cloud. Okay, underneath this PC and Documents, that's the cloud location. So if I want to get right onto my laptop hard drive, I have to go into Windows, Users, my username, my documents, and then I'm actually in my folders on my hard drive. Okay. See this control here? This is being previewed to me in what type of mode? Like, what do you call this when you get a little picture page here? Kind of shortcut. It's a little icon, right? Thumbnail, yeah, thumbnail icon. So I don't like this view with thumbnails and icons, so I'm going to change the view. I'm going to go up to the top here, the tabs at the top on the ribbon on File Explorer. I'm going to select View, and I'm going to say Details, okay? I prefer to look at it this way, the details, as opposed to the large icons, small icons, or thumbnails, right? So what I want you guys to do right now is I want you to be in that Documents folder, and I want you to create your first Niagara College folder, okay, for file management. So how we're going to do that? How do we create a new folder? Several ways, right? There's several ways to create a new folder. What's one way? Right click, new folder. Yeah, exactly. If I right click in the blank space here, I can say new and then choose folder, right? So right clicks your friend, Control Shift N. Yeah. Also, if I go to the home tab, I can say new folder, right? All of those ways I can create new folders. Noticing as I'm hovering on that new folder icon on the home tab, it says the keyboard shortcut, right? Control Shift N. So we have multiple ways. I can use my mouse to create a new folder. I can use the ribbon to choose the icon, or I can use the keyboard and select the appropriate keys at once to create that new folder. Okay, that's the same in AutoCAD. I can, in order to start a command, I can use the keyboard, I can use the mouse, or I can use the ribbon and select the icon. Hernan, they don't have to be. That is my suggestion. Okay. If you want to use the cloud all the time, that is your choice. Okay. If you just want to place it on the cloud and go with the cloud, that's completely fine. For myself, I'm putting it on my hard drive on my laptop. Then I will, when I choose, I will back up my files to the cloud. That's my way of working. It's up to you how you want to do that. I just wanted to show you the differences, that this is where I am right now on my C drive in the users, in the D Van Osh folder. That is my hard drive, and the cloud is the cloud, right? So whichever way you want to do that, that is totally up to you. Okay, so we're going to do a new folder. You are going to now rename that new folder, right? And you're going to rename it Niagara College. Right, because I'm sure you're going to have other things that you are going to be saving on your computer, right? Niagara College. Once I'm inside there, I'm going to double click. And now I'm in that blank folder. I'm going to create now. I'm going to do that again, new folder again. So now I'll click on there. The new folder I want you to have now is your 2021 fall. And inside there, I want you to then do your courses, right? So new folder again, I want you to do your individual courses. So CAD 1. Oh, and make sure you name them something that you're aware of. We constantly talk Capt 1434, right? Those are the course codes. And Tony and I are quite fluent in those terminologies, but you want to make sure you put an explanation beside that as well, right? So inside those, I'm going to now put in the two folders called lecture notes, maybe. Oops. I need to rename something. So see how I did the lecture notes here? And I made an error. I've got a capital N and a capital O. How do I rename a file folder? How do I rename? Right click. Yep. Right click. What's the keyboard shortcut for rename? No, keyboard shortcut. If I right click, you'll notice that there, oh, I got to select it. If I right click, rename, keyboard shortcut F2. Yes, thank you, Jeffrey. So F2 is the keyboard shortcut. So if I have that selected and I hit I have it highlighted, I hit F2, you'll notice that it allows me to then rename it, highlights the whole phrase. If I only want to go in and change one location, choose my cursor, right? Use my mouse to do that rename. And I'm going to do one more folder in here, and I'm going to say assignments. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to go back to fall 2021 fall, and I'm going to create another new folder. And okay, so hang on a sec here. Let me undo that. How do I undo something? How do I undo? Control Z. And Control Z allowed me to undo that last copy, right, or new folder, allowed me to do that, new folder, undo. Can I copy this folder? And I know I can copy the folder. So how do I copy a folder? So if I highlight this and I want to copy it, Control C, yep. And then I want to paste it here. How do I paste it? Control V, yep. So Control C to copy, Control V to paste. What is going on here? Control C, Control V, right? And you'll notice it says copy. Did it bring those subfolders with it? Did it bring the subfolders? Yes, it did, right? So let's make this easy on ourselves. Let's just continue to use the copy command instead of having to redo those subfolders inside, right? So once I have it copied, I'm going to then rename it. I'm going to hit F2, and I'm going to call this estimating. Right, estimating. So now I have those folders created for that. Okay. If I want to see what's going on inside those, I'm just going to expand on my left-hand side here. I'm just expanding. All right, so I'm expanding down, and I can see now, right? So now I can see I've got a Niagara College folder. I've got a subfolder in there called 2021 Fall. I've got my CAD 1, my 2 subfolders. I got my estimating and my 2 subfolders. Okay. So now if I was going to save my lecture notes, that's where I would save them here. And how come my, why won't that, okay, how come that won't let me change that item? Sure. So show you what, Jesse, one more time. How to copy or how to expand the folders? Okay, so I'm over here. And when you'll notice on the left-hand side here, if I want to expand any of the folders, so I see this little kind of like a beaked bracket, I call it, right? A little beaked bracket. When I want to expand one of those, all I do is select that little beaked bracket. So now I'm finding the folder that I want to expand, just clicking on that little beaked bracket. And then I can see what's inside those subfolders. Okay, I can see what's inside those subfolders. Nothing's inside lecture notes, right? When I do it one more time. The other thing that's nice up here is on this address bar. If I want to see the other subfolders within users, let's say, I see other subfolders within there, right? And I can quickly change to those locations here. Quickly change to those locations here. Okay, so the whole purpose of today is just to make sure that we have some file folders that we can save our documents to. That way, when I go to create a folder or a file, I can have a place to save it, right? I have a place to save it. And then that will be important for us so that we have a good file structure. Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to use this tool down here. You guys see this tool here where my cursor is going? It's down at the bottom on the status bar. And that is called the Snip and Sketch button. The Snip and Sketch app, I guess we call it. And what that allows me to do is it basically allows me to get a Jpeg creation by just selecting a rectangular shape on my window. Okay? So what I want you to do now is I want you to create a Jpeg showing me that you have actually created these files, right? So how do I do that? I go to that icon. It starts the Snip and Sketch application. I'm going to then go down, and if I have this, I can do new, or I can select the drop-down menu. Okay. What the drop-down menu allows a delay in the snipping. Okay, so but I'm just going to do snip now. Sometimes this snip in 3 seconds or snip in 10 seconds. It allows you to get more captured. Okay, but just go snip now. And now what it's looking for, you'll notice that it grayed out. What I want you to do is I want you to snip your file explorer so that I can see that you have created your folders in your document location. Okay. Once you have that saved, you're then going to go save file, save as on the icon here. And what you want to make sure is you do the proper file type, right? So sometimes you can save this in 3 different file types: a JPEG, a PNG, and a GIF file extension, right? Those different file extensions, they're all associated with an image file, right? They're all associated with an image file. So make sure you choose JPEG. I think JPEG is by default. Then you're going to path that to where you are going to save it, okay? Now you'll notice right now, mine is going to save to the desktop, okay? Mine is going to save to the desktop. Keep in mind though, that this is the desktop on your cloud, okay? So I am going to save this underneath where I have my file folders that I just created. So I'm going to Users, D Van Osh, Documents, Niagara College, Fall 2021, CAD, and I'm just going to put that into assignments, and then I'm going to call it, I'm going to save it as my name. And then I'm going to hit save. Then I'm going to close my snippet. Now, the reason I walked you through that, saving that, is because this is what the practice assignment submission is: to create some subfolders of your classes and create it as a JPEG, right? And now I'll see it's under here. I have that there, my JPEG. And then we are going to submit this file as a practice assignment submission. Okay? If you were just following along, and maybe let's say I went a little too fast, or maybe you were just watching, that's okay. What we want you to do is sometime between now and Wednesday, create this file structure, create a JPEG using the Snip and Sketch tool, and save it as your name. What I'm looking for to see that you have created this entire file structure, right, based upon where you're placing it. If you're placing it on the OneDrive, that's fine. Or if you place it actually on your C drive, that's fine as well, right? One of the 2 locations. Make sure you have this file structure. Make sure you have at least 2 courses in there. Ideally, you have all 7. And make sure that I can see that you have created them all. So expand on those folders so I can see what's inside those. Okay? Then you'll create a JPEG of that location. Okay? The Snip and Sketch, it should just be down along on your taskbar at the bottom. Is it on your taskbar? If you just go along the bottom of your window, it should be, Snip and Sketch should be on that taskbar. If it's not, you can go in the search menu. Okay, it's down there along the bottom. Yep. You can go in the search button, and it should be though on this taskbar. If you don't have that application showing up there, you can just search it, Snip and Sketch, and that app should open up. Okay, I have it along my taskbar because I do use it quite often, so I want to have that as a keyboard shortcut, right? Or as a mouse shortcut. Sure. Yanis, you can create your file structure however you like, but use the main base that I've talked about. And if you want to do an additional subfolder for week 1, that is completely up to you. That is, by all means, go ahead. Okay, so keep in mind, I'm going to get to that in 1 minute. So yeah, Windows Shift key and the S is also Snip and Sketch, exactly. So keep in mind, we have all kinds of keyboard shortcuts. In order to copy a file, we like to use Control-C. To paste a file, we use Control-V. What is Control-X? What is Control-X? Cut, yes, correct, cut. What does F2 allow us to do? Rename, yep. What does the window key? I'm going to use the Windows key right now, and I'm going to hit the left arrow button. The Windows key and the left arrow button allows me to nicely place the application that is current on the left-hand side of my screen. So now if I want an application on the left-hand or the right-hand side of the screen, I can use the arrow key and the left button. Okay, that's not working. One sec here. Let me expand that one more time. Having some issues. Alt-Tab. Okay, so I have that Windows key and the right and left button allow you to have a split screen, right? One application open on the one hand side and the other application on the right. That's using the Windows key and the right and left arrow buttons. If you need to move a file, what you can do is drag and drop, right? To move a file, you drag and drop. So if I wanted to move estimating into my 12 into a different location, I just drag and drop, right? It allows me to move it into a location. So drag and drop. If I use the control and drag and drop, that allows me to copy it, right? So we also have the ability to use drag and drop in order to move something, right? To drag and drop it. If you want to copy it, hold the control key down and then copy. Okay. Hold the control key down and then copy. Somebody's asking, they say they don't have a JPEG. Well, usually when you create that snippet, when you do save as, okay, so that's what I'm doing here. Before I actually close this, I want to do save as, and you have to change the file type down here. Save it as. You have 3 options, okay? You have 3 options. PNG might be the default. As soon as I changed it to JPEG, it now always. That's strange, Dylan. Yeah, JPEG is what we want. Dylan, you might have to show me your screen. Maybe we'll do it at 9:20 when class is over. You can show me your screen. Okay, or you can use file converter. That's fine as well. The other thing I want to mention about file extensions, right? So we have different file extensions. You will notice when I go to some files that I have on my hard drive here, right? So I have these file extensions, and I'm able to see the file extension after that. You don't have to make folders for all the classes, just make for 2. You'll notice that after this name, it's .jpeg, right? And that tells me the type of file that it is. What happens if I remove .jpeg on this here? An error, right? If I remove the file extension, then the computer doesn't know which application to open it with, right? So make sure that you do not erase the file extension, so the dot file extension, because then the application won't know, the computer won't know what application to open it with. Okay? What does Control A do? Control A. If I'm Control A right now, yeah, Control A selects all. What if I only want to select archive and borders? How am I going to do that? If I just want to do archive, I want to choose archive and I want to choose borders. How do I do that? What keyboard key do I hold down in order to select only archive and borders? The Shift key. The Shift key? Shift key? The Shift key, if I hold archive and then I hit the Shift key, that does all three. Okay. So if I only want to do two selections, it's the Control key. Okay, the Control key. The Control key. Okay. So it seems that everyone's pretty familiar with a lot of these keyboard shortcuts. So it's that's good. Let me just, I'm going through my another one that I like is the Control key and the L. Control key and L. What? Oh, and I think I just got. Sorry about that, people. I booted myself out of the. Blackboard location. Can you guys still hear me now? Yeah. Okay. So if you do the Windows logo icon and the L key, that locks your computer. I should not have done that because it kicked me out of Blackboard. But if you want to lock your computer, if you're going to be away from your laptop for a minute, you should always do that. The other one I like is the Windows key and F1. The Windows key and F1, that allows me to open up the help, okay? Getting help with Windows 10. Okay, so that's important there. Okay, the F1 key, that's also help in AutoCAD. All right, so what I want to show you now is I want to show you where I would go to submit that practice assignment. So I'm going to go to Assignments. I'm going to go to Practice Assignments. You'll notice it tells the instructions, right? It tells the instructions. And in order for me to actually attach that, I have to go to the underlined title of this link here. And this PA is underlined. So I click on that PA. I then scroll down and it tells me when the due date is, tell me how many points possible. It tells me the objective, gives me the instructions one more time. And what I want to do is I want to browse to a local file, right? So I'm going to go browse. I'm going to browse to where I had my folder created. And I'm going to attach that JPEG. Okay, so it's showing me that I'm attaching that JPEG. I'm going to scroll down. You don't have to add any comments because when you submit something, your username and the time that it was submitted gets attached to the prefix of your file name. After I'm done that, I'm going to say submit. Sure, if you want to upload it now, that's fine. Yep, you can do that now. And then I hit upload. Or sorry, I hit submit. And you'll notice because I'm not a student, it's telling me that it hasn't been saved. But yours will say that it has been saved. You'll have a green information coming up like that. Okay. Should look something like that, right? Should look something like that. Username is the name that you log into Blackboard with. Okay, so again, this is just a practice submission. We're going to give you a little feedback on that. Okay, so we've done that. So the next thing we want to go through to today is looking at the Blackboard practice quiz. Okay, so this is just a quiz to get used to using the Blackboard interface to answer quiz questions. Okay, so today's quiz is underneath the quiz folder, and it's called Orientation Quiz. So I'm gonna pop over to that. So I'm gonna go to the quizzes location. You notice Orientation Quiz. It's an example sample quiz for us to take. The password is student, and it's all lowercase letters. So I'm going to go to quiz, Orientation Quiz. It tells me information. Okay, this test has a time limit of 10 minutes. It has multiple attempts. This is the only one that has multiple attempts, and that is for you to get used to using it. Okay, so the password is student, so I'm going to hit begin. I'm now going to type in the password, hit submit. I'm not going to save that password, so I'm going to say don't save. And then you'll notice that it is walking me. It says there's questions 1 of 10, so there's 10 questions. And it's going to ask me information about different things about orientation. So your password must include 1 uppercase letter and 1 number. Do you agree or disagree with that? So I'm going to choose the agree. And I'm going to, right, so now agree. Notice I didn't hit saved, but it quickly did save. Sometimes when you're writing a quiz, it won't be as responsive, so you want to hit agree saved here. So I'm going to go to the next question. And it says when an assignment is, and this is a drop-down type question. I choose one of these answers. Students will lose, and I choose another one of those answers. And so when an assignment is in a blue and white folder, submitted, late, Spencer, yeah. The student will lose 50%, right? And then if I want to save the answer and then move to the next question. Okay. This one is a matching. This is matching, right? So myself, Miss Denise Vanosh, am I the academic advisor for International, the civil engineering technician coordinator and professor, construction engineering technology coordinator professor, or school of technology academic advisor? Which position or role at the college am I? And what I do here is I choose A, B, C, or D. Ooh, I'm the civil engineering technician coordinator and professor. Mr. Roberts is the construction. All right, so I choose the letter that corresponds with the role. Okay, Catherine is the academic advisor for domestic student, and Charles is the academic advisor for international. Notice this one's saved automatically. I didn't have to hit the save button, and then I can move to the next question. Okay. If you don't know the answer, you can move to the next question. Right. If I don't know the answer, I move to the next question. Right. Then how do I go back to those questions? I can hit the question completion status, and I see that I have 10 questions there. I completed questions 1, 2, and 3. Now, what if I want to move to question 7? I can choose it at the top. What if I want to review question number 1? I go back to number 1. Okay. It's not until you go to question number 10 that you can do save and submit. Okay. So if I'm on question number 4, and I want to jump right to question number 10, I can hit this button as well. Okay, the forward right to the end. And I have the save and submit. What ends up happening though, because this is a timed quiz, it says warnings appear when half the time or 5 minutes is left, 1 minute is left, and 30 seconds is left. Okay. So if I get to my 10-minute time, and I am not at the end yet, Blackboard will automatically save and submit that for you. Okay, Blackboard will automatically save and submit that for you. Okay. What's important when you are writing quizzes is that your internet is stable, right? If you have issues with the internet and you're writing a quiz, you might get bumped out of it. Okay, let me go back to, that was a very, very quick 10 minutes. It was a very quick 50-minute class today. Okay. So what I want you to do for Wednesday is I want you to make that submission, the practice assignment submission for Wednesday, just showing me that you created your files and folders and you saved it as a JPEG and you submitted that through Blackboard. That's what I want to ensure for Wednesday's class, because with most submissions, you will be submitting that digital copy using Blackboard. The other thing I want you to do before Wednesday's class is I want you to get in there and try that practice quiz, right? That practice quiz will help you get used to Blackboard quizzes. You will be using Blackboard quizzes for all of your classes, so make sure you get in there and get used to the format. Then we will see you on Wednesday. Okay, so Wednesday we will have our new topics and we will jump right into some of the commands for AutoCAD. Okay, any other questions?